Good morning, Miss Mayo here. Today I have a book called Don't Be Silly, Mrs. Millie, and it's written by Judy Cox and illustrated by Mathieu. Mrs. Millie, our teacher, is really silly. Every day she says, "Good morning, children. Please hang up your goats." Don't be silly, Miss Millie. You mean our coats. At 8 o'clock, our teacher announces, "Please rise for the frog salute." Oh, no, we shout. You mean the flag salute. It's 9 o'clock. Time to write, Mrs. Millie says. Get your paper and penguins. Don't be silly, Mrs. Millie. You mean our paper and pencils. At 10 o'clock, it's recess time. Our teacher looks out the window. It just stopped raining cats and dogs. Don't step in a poodle. Don't you mean a puddle? We ask, giggling. We play outside until our teacher blows her whistle. Recess is over, she yells. It's time to chameleon. Don't be silly, Mrs. Millie. You mean it's time to come in. At 11 o'clock, Mrs. Millie says, "You may get drinks, but don't cut in the lion." You mean the line, we yelled. At 12 o'clock, our teacher announces, "Time for lunch. Wash your hands with soap and walrus." You're silly, Mrs. Millie. You mean soap and water. As we get in line, Miss Millie reminds us, "Don't forget your lunch, bunny." Oh, that's right, our lunch money. Mrs. Millie puts on her glasses to read the menu. Today they have gorilla cheese and sandwiches today. Don't be silly, Mrs. Millie. You mean grilled cheese sandwiches today? At 1 o'clock, our teacher picks up a book. It's story time. Come sit on the bug. You're so silly, we cry. You mean sit on the rug. At 2 o'clock, Miss Millie calls us to the back of the room. It's time for art. Who wants to paint on the weasel? You mean the easel, Mrs. Millie? How can you be so silly, we ask. After art, our teacher asked, "Who's hungry? We have parrot sticks and crackers." We know what you mean. Carrot sticks and crackers, we yell. At 3 o'clock, Miss Millie smiles. "What a fun day we've had, but it's time to go home. Put on your bats and kittens." Don't be silly, Mrs. Millie. You mean our hats and mittens. When we're ready to leave, our teacher goes to the door. "Butterfly, children." "No, Miss Millie," we shout. You don't mean butterfly, you mean goodbye." Mrs. Millie laughs. We laugh too. "Butterfly, Miss Millie. See you gator." And we wave goodbye as we get on the octopus. I think they mean bus. How silly. That was a fun book with rhyming words. I hope that you're practicing your rhyming words at home, and I hope that we get to practice them together really soon. See you later, Reisterstown. Bye.